Hello, everybody. It's Taylor, and I have a wonderful friend that I want to introduce you to. This is Christiana de Benedict, and she is the lovely lady that introduced me to Prolong. And I have her here because she's done it 4 times, the 5-day fasting mimicking diet. So I was like, God, girl, I need to talk to you about it. And she just completed her 4th round. And so I have her here to chat about it. So, Christiana, let's talk Prolong.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Thanks, Taylor.
Yeah.
Happy to be here and talking about Prolon.
Okay, amazing.
Where do we start?
So I wanted to ask you, take us back to like how you learned about it because you showed it to
Yes.
me,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you like what I initially thought when you first showed it to me.
Yes.
And then I have more questions, but yeah,
Okay.
take me back.
So, so I really started because, I'm in that time in my life where I'm
Yeah.
sort of, things are changing and started to do some research, started to read some books,
So things are changing hormonally.
hormonally, like premenopause,
Yeah.
and just really wanting to, learn more about my body. What can I do to support myself with
Yeah.
a lot of different new sort of physical and emotional, mental challenges
Yeah.
that I hadn't, dealt with before. Like
Yep.
my sleep wasn't good,
Yeah.
things were happening.
Okay, cool.
So, had a good friend of mine, someone else, who she and her husband had done Prolon, and we started talking about it. And that was actually how I learned about it.
Yeah.
And then I was reading Mindy Pelt's book, this one and another Mindy Pelt's book, and she's amazing, and learned a bit more about this particular type of fast, which is called the fasting mimicking diet.
Yes.
And Prolon is well referenced, well researched. It's out of USC, their Institute for I think it's aging.
Yeah.
And
Longevity and
so
aging.
longevity and aging. And I just decided I'm going to give this a try.
That's so cute. So yeah, so I'm gonna this is the Prolong box. I'm gonna stop the background video when I show you what's inside. But when she first showed it to me, where my brain went was to the military
Hmm.
and to specific like packages that they were sent out, like dry
Packaged
food,
food.
like
Hmm.
freeze dried.
Yep.
And so I was like, I
You
don't
didn't
know.
expect that.
Well, that's what I was expecting.
Okay. Oh,
Was
got
like
it. Okay.
was like very kind of like not delicious food. Okay,
Hmm.
this is part to where we'll talk about our first experience
Yeah.
in a second, but um and and lower quality is what I immediately thought.
Mm,
So we're going to talk about this in a bit,
right.
but that
Right.
was my fear
Right.
before I
Hmm.
started to learn more about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that.
Okay.
And my first experience when I opened, so I did it last year.
Okay. I'm
Um,
gonna stop the background just so we can show you
oh
all.
yeah. Um, I did it last year, actually a year ago, and really came into it not sure, what to think or what I was going to be doing.
Okay.
But I felt very committed to trying something different
Okay.
and seeing what a 5 day, like what how would my body deal with a 5 day fast,
Had you ever done a fast before?
Not anything like this before.
Okay, so you've done like a 16,
I've
like
done,
intermittent
yeah,
fasting.
intermittent fasting, but just for me, it just wasn't seeing the benefits.
Right. Yep.
And I was really, I just felt like, and especially after reading Mindy Pelt's book, really wanted to kind of see how my body would adjust and respond to a 5 day fast.
So when you went into this hopeful, like what were you hoping to see? Like if
I think probably like first and foremost was definitely like I'd like to lose a couple pounds,
yeah,
which I'm sure a lot of people can relate
for
to.
sure. Yeah, the visceral fat like
Yeah,
around the belly kind of stuff.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then I also think I was my friends who I mentioned,
Hmm.
he the her partner had a lot of positive results with just anxiety and like the
That's what
emotional side.
he
Yeah.
reported, yeah.
And so that just kind of also
Hmm.
I was like, really interested in how my body will respond to that.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So this is what it looks like. Forgive me with my husband's drums in the back. So this is the package that comes to you. And And so when you open it, I didn't eat all of them. But
Oh,
I kept,
I want to see.
so it comes
Yes.
with like the little packet that you can, log on here. Did you ever scan it and do it?
Honestly, I did not.
Okay, that's okay. So I didn't either, but my mom did.
Okay.
And you have all these options to get like a coaching email every day,
Oh, I love that.
which
Yeah.
is like darling.
So maybe I'll try that in the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it comes with the whole 5 days laid out exactly what's in each
Which
of
is
one of
very
these
helpful,
packets.
and this you should definitely read. There's some good information here.
And so the food comes, ordered, so it's like day 1 through day 5. And like I referenced this little meal plan sheet,
Yeah.
what was in it every single day.
Yeah, every day.
Right?
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Yeah, I think I developed a little bit of a routine around it.
Okay, so tell me
So,
your
I
routine.
think so my first experience was, I didn't have all my tricks down yet. So
Okay. Ooh,
my
tricks.
first experience was I just kind of went into it, did just open the box, and you sort of, tried to eat and spread out as much as you could, the food. But I definitely felt like that by the end of the day, some of those days I was like really hungry in the very beginning.
Okay.
But it definitely, you go through a process, and I would say like day 4, day 5 for me, every time I've done it has been significantly easier than days 1 and 3 were always the most challenge for me. But then by 4 and 5 for me, it was like I wasn't even that hungry. Like on Thursday, I like felt like I was like, oh, I have to eat something. So my body definitely adjusted as I got through the entire cycle.
Yeah.
And I definitely wanted to eat less.
Tell me about your exercise during like this last week, or if you remember from
Yeah.
the first time.
Yeah. So I do like to exercise, and I like to do my cardio hip hop, as you know.
Oh, yes.
But I had to just kind of step away from any cardio. I was just it was too much. It felt like too much on my body. So every time I've done it, I still do walks. I take my dog for a walk. I will do yoga, I'll do stretching, but really kind of I feel like I've evolved now in my whole approach around Prolon. And so I did it the first time 3 months in a row. So I did a 5-day fast I can't remember when I started, but I'm going to say March, maybe March, April, May. And definitely learned more tricks in that period around, eating a little bit, like holding some of the food sometimes to a little bit later. And that helped me a lot. Using seasoning, like using seasoning in the soups. Actually, the soups are pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, the salt, actually salt like on the bars and stuff at night. Just a little bit, because you are allowed.
Right.
Cinnamon in the coffee, because you can't put any milk or anything like that, but you can still get a really nice, Americano or espresso, or something that's like creamy on top, and a little cinnamon.
So my Italian and the Latina come out. You're like flavor.
Flavor, yeah, it needs flavor. So, I had like a couple more tricks in terms of how I approach the food. But this time around, this last time, I actually think it's like it's a mental approach, and really embracing this time more fully for self-reflection, self-care.
Yeah.
Doing like a massage one of the nights. Take really embracing this period so that you can kind of fully embrace the transition aspect of it, not only physically, but also just sort of mentally and emotionally. And I think that was I think a really important approach that has helped me, and one that makes me feel like I want to sustain this going forward.
Oh, I mean, this is why you just sit down and chat, because you know what I'm seeing as you're talking is like just this window like you said it, because I knew your husband was away too.
Yes.
And so it was like this little boundary
Yes.
of like, for Christiana.
Yes, yes, a full sort of reset.
Yeah.
And one other thing I think that's really important too for anyone thinking about doing this, and especially for any women, what I loved about Mindy Pelt's book and
Yeah.
about the fasting is that she orients everything around our cycles.
Yes.
And
Right.
that I think is really critical. And I've done that with Prolon.
Okay.
So
Tell us
I
about that.
do track my cycle and
Yep.
then I do align the fasting with the periods that are the power periods, which
Yes.
are it's like in the beginning,
Yep.
and then there's a window in between like ovulation and then when you get your period.
Yeah.
So there's, she's got all that information online, but if you
Yes. The
kind of
luteal
track that,
phase
yeah,
is the beginning phase.
yeah, there's like power and then
Oh, she named some different.
yeah, maybe there's like
Okay.
maybe I'm thinking of it, but aligning with your cycle, I also think is a good strategy.
Okay, perfect. So maybe that I'll include that in some information for people so they can know exactly, because
Yeah.
if you track, it's like, okay,
Yeah,
make
when's
sure
the
not to
best
do
time?
it
Yeah, so
during
you're
the
not
week of
stressing. You're not stressing.
your
And
body.
that's what she talks about is
Yeah,
like if you're doing fasting
right,
when your body is, in a period where it needs to not be fasting,
right.
or is kind of getting ready, you're almost to the point of getting your period,
Yeah,
you could be creating more stress.
yeah.
And that can increase your cortisol levels. And
Mhm,
so we really want to try to line, the
mhm.
fasting
Right.
with the cycle.
Love it.
Yeah.
Such good pro tips. So I wanted to share a little bit since we actually haven't talked about it, is
I know,
about
I'm so curious.
so I
Yeah.
went from like thinking that this was going to be like a military diet with like shit quality food
Yeah.
to learning about Dr. Or Walter Longo and
Yeah.
his 30 years of relentless research.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, this is,
Yeah.
and then I got my little packets and I had the first bite of that nut bar and I was like, wait, this is soft and chewy and delicious.
Yeah.
And then I had the Italian olives and I looked, or I had the olives and I love olives. We both
Yeah. No,
studied
we love
abroad and,
olives. Yeah.
and so I turned it around and it was like, oh, imported from Italy. And I was like, oh, so he's just not messing around with the ingredients.
No,
They're really
the
trying
ingredients are
to make
great.
it tasty.
It's tasty.
So the only thing that I will say, and my mom said the same thing, is
Okay,
like
let's hear
the
it.
minestrone. Some of
Mm,
the ones like they
yeah.
don't really get
Soft. Like
soft
the minestrone one with the
with
peas.
the
Yeah,
peas,
the peas don't. That's true.
it's
Yeah.
like it's a little bit, crunchy, so you're kind of like, you know,
Yeah, you got a little bit of crunch.
yeah,
That's true.
right?
But I will say one other tip.
Okay.
So the first three times I did just the typical, they just have like this is probably
The
that
classic
the
one,
classic,
traditional, I think.
traditional
Yeah.
one. But this last one, I got the expanded, I
Right.
think it's called expanded version or
Okay.
something.
Yeah.
And I really liked that one. And I
Okay.
do really recommend that.
Good.
And here's the reason why. Because the soups come with a little tablespoon of olive oil.
Ooh.
And so I'm telling you, this will get you through. Like
Right.
you do the soup and then add a little olive oil, little salt and pepper, good to go.
Oh, see. Yeah. And so um I did water fast the last couple years.
Yeah.
And so the idea was like with the fasting mimicking, we don't lose our lean muscle mass. So this last year,
Yeah.
I really tried to add on some lean muscle mass, like get my enough protein in.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to lose it this year,
Right.
which is why I
Right.
decided to try the
That makes a
5 day
lot of sense.
fast.
Yep.
So unlike my girlfriend here, Christiana, I did fine. Day one, I was like, oh, in the bag. I'm like, you give me olives for snacks and nut bars and all this food, like I
Yeah.
felt like,
Yeah.
because I kept thinking about my water fasting and I couldn't eat
Right.
anything.
Right. Right.
Oh, and I get to have my coffee. I'm good,
Yeah.
right? So day two, I'm fine. I did my hot yoga, fine.
Okay.
Wednesday was a little bit tougher. Thursday, I was starting to get I kind of get like I'm kind of like over this
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
I am a foodie, I'm an eater.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like I'm ready for,
Right.
well, I did a boo-boo
Uh-oh.
and I did my HIIT workout.
Oh,
I think on either Thursday or Friday.
that might be that you were probably very hungry.
I, I it pushed me too hard.
Yeah,
There
that's
was
too
a
much.
moment, my mom cited this too, where I had a little bit of heart
Yeah.
palpitations,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We were stressing like my mom,
There was too much
it was
stress on your
too,
body.
yeah, and it was
Yeah.
too much stress on my mom's body. She's 72
Yeah.
and she has some autoimmune issues. So it was two days on this was too much for her, but I'm going to talk to her about like, maybe
Yeah.
just doing a
I
modified
think
or
just like you just, like I said, I think you just really embrace this time as a slowing down period.
love that.
And I think that it's even with
Gentle.
gentle, just be gentle. Because you don't, I feel like if you push yourself too much,
Yeah,
it's just you don't have the total reserves.
exactly.
And even I felt that, we have stairs in our home and it's like by that last day, your
Yeah.
body is also you feel very light. Like you feel
Yeah.
I felt very clear and
Yes.
um, but you can get lightheaded. Like
Okay. Yeah.
if it's too strenuous, anything, like getting up too quickly. You
Yeah.
just want to be really slow.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love this conversation with you, Christiana. I felt like I am now going to be a better prolonger.
A prolonger. That's
So
awesome.
uh
Maybe we could do a prolonger group.
exactly. So that's where I'm going to have and see if Christiana, when I do my next group, if she can join us and just be in our little WhatsApp chat.
I would
Uh,
love to participate.
okay, sweet. All right. Well, thank you so much, and thanks for listening. And happy prolonging.